Ladies and gentlemen, this story came out on NBC News, May 17th, 2020. Unprecedented states face hundreds of billions in lost revenue. NBC News finds. So, over 30 states did a survey since March, when the coronavirus put a lot of people out of work and shut down businesses. So the coronavirus pandemic will cost states hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue in the upcoming fiscal year, according to an NBC News survey of 33 states and Washington, D.C., with most states starting their new fiscal year early this summer. The projections in many cases will serve as the basis for severe budget cuts states may have to take if massive federal government aid doesn't come soon. Though the nature of the crisis makes forecasting future incredibly difficult, officials say. Every state that responded to the NBC News survey reported it faces a revenue loss that includes large states and small across the country, some red and other blue, although not everyone said it be forced to make budget cuts soon. This is an unprecedented occurrence in American history and arguably world history, at least in modern history, said Louisiana Commissioner of Administration Jay Dardenne. So there's no playbook, there's nothing to look at, there's nothing to benchmark for this. NBC News reached out to the top budget officials in all 50 states asking how much revenue they were projected would be lost as a result of coronavirus outbreak, what kind of budget shortfalls they are facing, and what, if any, cuts will be necessary. 25 states and Washington, D.C. responded with either initial totals of how much they've lost, projections for the upcoming fiscal year, or budget cuts they are considering. 8 states did not respond, but have since released that information publicly. The remaining 16 states either did not respond or have not released such information publicly, though officials in some of those states have openly discussed facing revenue shortfalls in the billions. Yeah, so I know it's going to be horrific when they have to really tally up all these numbers. All right, I got a video here from Andrew Cuomo, New York, and this is MSNBC. All right, there's a short commercial, so I'll keep the volume down until it's past the commercial. Okay, almost there. Okay.
The president gave an interview, as reported in the New York Post. Blue state coronavirus bailouts are unfair to Republicans. Bailouts. This is the topic of whether or not the federal government should provide aid to state governments. And it's been a discussion for weeks. The federal government has passed legislation in the past that helped airlines, helped small businesses, helped hotels. Great. They haven't provided any aid to state and local governments. Well, why is that important? It's the state and local governments that fund police, fire, education, teachers, healthcare workers. If you starve the states, how do you expect the states to be able to fund this entire reopening plan? Well, the governors are in charge. But the states are in dire financial circumstances because our economy suffered when all the businesses shut down. So the debate now is, well, it's the blue states that have the coronavirus. Okay, New York they call a blue state. California they call a blue state. And the Republicans are saying, we don't want to give money to the blue states. First of all, this is not a blue state issue. Every state has coronavirus cases. And it's not just Democratic states that have an economic shortfall. Republican states have an economic shortfall. Well, it's the mismanagement of blue states for decades that they now want us to bail out. That's just not a fact. It is not a fact. First of all, no blue state was asking for a bailout before this coronavirus. I wasn't asking for anything from the federal government before the coronavirus. And by the way, the federal government wasn't giving New York anything for years. Everything they were doing was negative to New York. Then comes the coronavirus. Our economy stops because we shut it down. Now we have a $13 billion deficit because we stopped the economy. So what we're asking, every state is asking, because of the coronavirus, we need financial help in restarting the economy. And that's what we're asking for from the federal government. How do you call that a bailout, which is such a loaded word, such a rhetorical, hyperbolic word? It's a bailout. There's no bailout. Because of the coronavirus, this nation has been impacted and states have been impacted because the states make up the nation. And we need financial help because of the coronavirus situation.
Okay. Yeah, well, as you can see, since the coronavirus, the federal government has been doing poorly. I mean, just the whole handling of this whole situation has been poor. So I certainly don't expect nothing good when it comes down to the coronavirus. I mean, the country has literally been defeated by a virus. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.